Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to have something in your PyGame game respond to mouse movement. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new file. And in my new file, I'm going to paste the template from chapter 5 of the book. You can find it via the PyGame reference sheet that you should have access to. So I like to save my game as soon as I have the file open. So I'm going to go ahead and save this as mouse movement, October 6th, 5th, I guess. Okay, so this is our general structure of our PyGame game. We know that we can add different code. Hopefully you've worked a bit with graphics. So I'm going to go down to where drawing code should be added. And in the PyGame reference, I'm just going to take one of these simple shapes. So let's take this green rectangle and put that into the file. Now this is going to paste in that green rectangle at the bottom because we were using it for grass previously. So I'm going to go ahead and run the module, save the file, and we should see pop up a screen with that green band across the bottom. So that's kind of what we want. We want to be able to draw something on the screen, but I want to draw a much smaller rectangle. So if we look at these rectangle dimensions, we know that this is the X and Y position, and then this is the width and the height. So I'm going to make it a much smaller rectangle. I'm actually going to make it a little cube or a little square. So I'm going to make it 50 by 50, and I'm going to have it start somewhere just inside the screen. So let's do that, see where that is. Okay, so now we have a little square, and we're going to make the square follow the mouse around the screen. So what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and first read in the mouse input. So in the PyGame reference near the bottom, I have added in some code to help you with mouse movement. So this pygame.mouse.getPosition, this code allows you to get the position of the mouse. It actually returns a tuple or list of 2 items containing an X, and we can use these square brackets to access each of the values. So if we just copy this code that was given, and we go and put it in here, I'm going to put it right above the rectangle. You'll notice that when I was putting in my descriptions, I put them in as comments so that you could just copy and paste, and these descriptions wouldn't break your Python at all. Okay, so now we have this position variable, which gets the mouse position, and we've stored those positions in X and Y. So all I'm going to do to have my rectangle move to wherever the mouse is I read in the mouse position, and then when I draw the rectangle, instead of hard coding the X and Y to 100 and 350, I'm going to put the X and Y values that we just got from the mouse. Because this loop is running every frame, we should find that this X and Y is updating continuously throughout the game, so the X and Y position of the rectangle is updating throughout the game. So if we run module, what we should find is that now our rectangle follows the mouse around the screen. Okay, so if you want to have like a paint program, where you're building, a paintbrush or something that needs to follow the mouse around the screen, you can do something like that. You will notice that my mouse is sitting in the top corner of the rectangle. That's because the X and Y position of the rectangle is based on its top left-hand corner, and we've set that exactly to the mouse. If we want our mouse to be in the center, we would have to offset it by half the width of the rectangle and half the height, which might sound a bit crazy, but I'll show you. So instead of it being in the top left, if we want it to be in the horizontal middle, we would want to be, X plus, offset by half the size of the rectangle. So the rectangle is 50 pixels. So we're going to offset X by 25 pixels. And what that should do is move our mouse to the middle, but still at the top because we've only changed the X value. So we'll give that a second to run here. It's really struggling. Oh, there we go. So I've actually gone and set it the wrong way because I moved the rectangle instead of the mouse, but no big deal. That's why we test run. So if we go here and change this to -25 and run it, we should have the opposite effect. Okay, so now my mouse is directly in the middle horizontally. If we want it in the middle of the square, we can do the same thing with the Y value. Try minus, run that, click OK. And we should see now that our mouse is in the middle of our square, and it updates each frame. So if you move too fast, you'll slip off. So if you were building a paint program and you wanted to be able to detect where the mouse was on the screen, you could do that. If you wanted to have, some sort of character follow the mouse and click on something, then again, you would have it follow the mouse. If you wanted some sort of everything's falling from the sky and they have to use the mouse to determine what it's going to catch, and this were a basket instead of a rectangle, for example, this is how you would do it. If you wanted to lock it so it only moved horizontally or only moved vertically, you would just change only one of the values. So for example, if we wanted to have a basket that moved across the bottom of the screen based on mouse location, but we didn't want it to be able to move up and down, what we could do is set the Y value to be hard-coded so that the Y never changes, it never goes up or down. So let's say our screen is 700 by 500. So 500 would be the very bottom of the screen. So let's say we want this at like 400. We left the X value following the mouse. If we run this, now no matter where I put my mouse, the rectangle follows it, but it never changes its Y value. Okay, you can do the same thing with the X value. If we leave the Y, I'll just change that back to Y. And we set the X value to something hard-coded, so let's say 200. Run module. Again, it's just moving up and down. Here, I'll move this down onto your screen a bit. It's just moving up and down. It won't move left to right. So that allows for a lot of flexibility in using mouse input for different games that you might be doing. Okay, I'm going to wrap up this video here, and I'll be posting more as well that show movement with keyboard and also responding to mouse clicks, etc.